Hello, and welcome to another Half-Life 2 mod review. Today we're going to take a look at an absolute classic, Nightmare House. What started as a small horror-themed map pack for Half-Life 2, released shortly after the game's release, got better and better with age, eventually becoming Nightmare House 2. To this day, Nightmare House 2 remains one of the very best mods in the Half-Life series, and its horror theme is one rather infrequently touched upon. This mod firmly separates itself from Half-Life 2. There are no alien invaders to repel here. No rebellion to join. This already makes the mod rather unique. Not that I have any problems with mods that remain in-universe, but it's a breath of fresh air to get a totally new story to play with. Nightmare House's story delivers on that. This is the type of mod that needs to be played blind, so I won't give any details. But take my assurance if you haven't played this mod yet, that its story is intriguing, suspenseful, and action-packed. But does it deliver on the horror side of things? Now, I'm not a huge horror fan. I can and do enjoy a good scary game once in a while, but I don't usually seek them out, so the list of horror-themed games I have played is not a very lengthy one. That being said, Nightmare House, in my opinion, is one of the best horror games out there, not just mods. It does have some jump scares, which a lot of people dislike, but I think that blending them with more tactful ways to get the blood pumping is perfectly acceptable. In this case, though Nightmare House does occasionally go for the cheap shots, it doesn't overly rely on them as its only method to induce fear. This mod is dripping with atmosphere, and will keep you on the edge of your seat from the moment you boot it up. This is all thanks to two things that this mod does very right: level and sound design. Nightmare House is expertly crafted, from the house from which the original mod is named, to the hospital which is the setting of Nightmare House 2. The maps all exist in small, cramped, and very contained places. By focusing down on these specific environments, the mod authors were able to squeeze every last bit of effort into making levels that look absolutely stunning, promote the horror atmosphere, and play smoothly. And the sounds you'll hear throughout these environments only improve that. This mod has absolutely phenomenal voice acting. It is a small cast of characters, but all of them are voiced with proper emotion and realism. There was obviously a group of very talented people behind these characters, both in writing and voice talent. Ambient noises in the hospital too are done amazingly, and coupled with great enemy sound effects, Nightmare House is a mod that needs to be experienced when you're fully able to immerse your senses, preferably in the dark. Of course, no mod is going to be effectively immersive if the gameplay itself pulls you out or reduces your enjoyment, while I have no complaints for Nightmare House on this front either. There's a trend in a lot of modern, especially indie horror games, to severely limit or even entirely remove the player's ability to fight back. Nightmare House does not do this. With plenty of weapons and ammo around, if this mod has kept anything from the game that it comes from, it's the gunplay. Though removing player weaponry is an effective way to create helplessness and thus amplify fear, and I think it has its place in the genre, I personally prefer it when a game makes you afraid even if you are carrying around a 12 gauge, and Nightmare House delivers on that. Honestly, I cannot think of a single major problem that I had with this mod. If you're interested in something that pushes away from fighting off Combine Overwatch soldiers without ditching Half-Life's signature gameplay design, this is well worth the download. That's all for this mod review. Like and subscribe for more. But in the meantime, this is where I get off.